Good day everybody and welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm going to quickly speak about intros, transitions and outros and just how I actually program mine. Once I started playing around with some of the preset beats on the BeatBuddy before I started writing my own songs, I realized that some of them are just too strong and too long for the average worship song. So what I noticed was that I needed to sort of reprogram my own intros and outros. So let me quickly go through some of the intros that I use. As you know, on your BeatBuddy you can actually just do a setting. If you access the settings here by pressing the drum set and the tempo together, then you can go to intros and you can actually just enable a normal counting, and then it doesn't use the intro of the song that you've got. But you can also just program a counting. So some of my songs, as you look here for this one, I'll quickly show you guys. It's just a normal counting that I use. So it sounds like this. And other times I need something that's a bit stronger. So let's say I do start a song start him off quite strongly. As some of you probably downloaded some of my songs, you will find there's like a build up already. But if you don't want that and you just want to program your own intro, then you need to go listen to the song and what it requires. So let me quickly use Hosanna as an example. So this one I start in the verse like Paul Baloche does in his video or in the song, and what I've done is I literally just kept the same structure that I have for my first verse. I just did as an intro for 4 bars. So there you can see. So let me quickly play it for you guys. This is now, I would start exactly on this when I would just exactly start like this, and I'll start with my chords with this one. So now I'll play the backbeat here with my guitar, and now I'll start with praise. There I'll start with my next verse. So that is sort of just a very basic intro that I have. Like I've shown you, the other one is just a normal counting. So if I'll show you one more intro. The one that I wrote for Mighty to Save, this is a very specific, this is also one that just does a normal counting, and then it would start with my first verse, which is quite a very distinctive beat, but we'll get back to this one in just a bit. So my intros, I always keep them more or less the same intensity as my verses. So that's intros. Let's quickly talk about transitions. Now, I use mostly 2 transitions, and as a drummer, while I was playing most of these songs, before I started programming them, I would always build up towards a chorus. So this is the one that I use for most of my pre-chorus or my verses that leads to the chorus. I would end up at the end of the song playing something like this. So let me show you this one here. That's literally just a build, 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 and then there's this the snare shot at the end. So let me show you. So there you can see that is the one that I usually use before I go into a chorus or some strong part. Then at the end of a chorus, as a drummer, you would sort of want to take things down again. So there I would always do like a full roll where I sort of use all the toms all the way down to the floor tom, because it's just got like a sound that makes you want to go back. It's always like playing a fifth on the guitar, the 5th chord in your progression. It'll always want to be resolved back in 1. So this is the one that I always use. This one is programmed to be called the quad crash transition. This is just how I remember it. The reason why it's a quad crash is because I've got 4 crash cymbal sounds in it. And this is the part that I want to talk about. You will notice that because I realized in the past most of my transitions that's stock when it comes to the BeatBuddy, they are too long. I always program the previous beat that I was playing in the first half. So it'll still sound like a normal beat, but then the last bit is where the tom and the roll come in. So listen to this one. So there it goes. So it sort of goes from the snare all the way around to the floor tom. And that is sort of the sound that I prefer when I'm going back into a verse. So let me quickly show you the previous beat. Now this is one thing that you always want to do. You want to make sure that the levels is more or less the same. So if I was playing this part here, so let me show you here at the end, this is the levels of my previous beat. So you'll see my hi-hat is about 50, 28, 50, 28, and then I have 127 and 111, and 90. Those are my kick and my snare levels. So if I go into my roll, they must be either this or a little bit louder than this, because a roll is supposed to sort of stand out a little bit more. So let me go to this one again and I'll show you guys the levels. So there you'll see it's more or less 127 and 111, but my snare is a little bit softer, so it's not 90 except this one here. So that is just, I'll quickly show you guys on another roll. Let's go to Mighty to Save. It's one I haven't done. I want to still do the video for this one. In the verse here, let me show you guys my verse. So this is it's a specific to it's exactly like the CD. So if you quickly listen here. So this one I tried to copy the original. Now some people, that one rim shot might be a little bit too much, but it's very basic. It's just 4 bars of the same. Look at the levels here. It's not that strong yet. The kick is only 99, 100 more or less, and then obviously it gets stronger. But let's look at this transition. This transition will always be the same, and then I also, for the same, the first bar of the transition, I play the same beat, because it's very difficult to get your transition in at exactly the right time unless you have them queued up on your sheet. Now this one is a 2-bar transition. I do sometimes write 2-bar transitions, and then you can hear over here I'm trying to build it up. You'll see I go from closed hi-hats to open hi-hats, but very softer ones, because I want it to sound very natural building up into my last roll, or that half a roll there at the end. So let me show you what this sounds like. This is now the I Surrender part. So it's not too much, but it just goes from your normal beat, and then it starts lifting it up with that open hi-hat sound, and then it goes into the roll for the next part. Like I said, this will be in one of my next video tutorials. If I have time to record, I'll definitely do this song. Now let me quickly show you one more of these rolls here, one of these transitions. This one still, it's got the beat for the first half. So that one is, let me just quickly have a look here. This one is right before the bridge. But then in my bridge, this one I was quite chuffed with how it sounded, because this is now during the bridge. You can hear. So that one I actually use when I go back into the last chorus. So for this one, just to quickly show you guys, this one I've got a very distinctive, this one is also 8 bars, and if you think about that, very after the break, that last chorus of Mighty to Save, just a normal kick, and then and now it'll start with just your normal 4/4 again. And now it'll get a little bit stronger. So there I go to the hi-hat, open hi-hat. Okay, so there's sort of my whole build, and then I go back into the chorus. Yes. Now this one, because I end intimately, and I'm just going to flow over into the outros now. When I do worship songs that end quite intimately, you will notice that sometimes I don't put an outro here, and then I just have a normal tap at the end. So let me show you, because then if I hit the outro, then I can actually repeat a line or slow the speed down, which you can't do while you are playing, obviously. So here you'll see I'm just tapping at the end, and now once I get to the end of the chorus that I repeated or something, I can just hit the outro and it will just stop playing completely. So that is how I do some of my worship, slower, intimate songs. I just end it like that. But let's go to Hosanna. I want to show you guys the outro here. So what happens is I've been playing this chorus here. So this will be my end chorus. I'm on the hi-hat open for this last chorus, and then I want to transition into the ending of the song. Now it's very difficult to, while you're playing, to get your outro exactly on the right. If you start your outro with a roll, sometimes you miss half the roll, because it takes that 1 or 2 seconds to hold in the bar, and if you start too early, then your outro gets cut. So what I've done, obviously I've changed my outro to the second button, as you guys notice. So I usually in my outro play one normal bar of still the same there you see one bar of just the same beat, and then I will, in this song specifically, I'll do, this is now a normal one, so there's another half of the same beat, and then I have my roll, and then the third bar will just have a kick and a crash, and then that will sort of ring out to the end. So let me show you what this would sound like. So right at the end of Hosanna, you are the God who says worthy of all praises, and then right here at the end you'll go. So that'll be my ending to the song. So as you can see, if you are busy playing this part now, and you must just remember when to trigger this, but once you hit it, even if you hit it a little bit late, it will still play that first bar, which is just the same beat that you've been listening to. So then it does make it much easier. I also have one for Fierce Clearer. If I quickly go back to one of my original songs, you will notice here at the end, this one is also something similar. I found out to get this break part of the ending of the song exactly on the right timing. It's very difficult, because if you switch over too late, let's say on this bar, then you miss your first part. So I realized that I have to play the same beat again, and then I'll go over. And then I'll have one bar just to ring it out at the end. Okay guys, so these are the transitions and the intros and outros that I use. Let me quickly touch on some of my songs. I don't use rolls in the middle, but if I do, let me quickly show you guys which one. Happy Day has got a few. So this one, in the middle of the chorus, I'll use a filling. Now this one must also be more or less the same level as the one that I'm using, and I don't want it to be too much. So I have the same, usually I use the same beat that I use at the end as a transition, I use during the middle of a chorus. So this one will just sound like this. So it doesn't use the full toms, because I'm not going back to the verse. This is just in the middle of a chorus. So that is why the ones that I use, I'll quickly show you. I think it's on another song. Let me just quickly go over here. No, let me just find it quickly. So here you'll see, here I use a quad crash transition. I only have like 3 transitions that I mostly use. This one is the one that goes back to the verse or to the bridge, so it'll be a full one. So let me show you. It's got all the rolls there at the end. But then the triple crash transition one, it doesn't have it just sounds normal. And that one, it still sounds like a normal beat, but then it just adds a few shots at the end. That's why I prefer using these ones instead of a full bar of just rolls. I know there are some people who like it, but you can always copy those, some of the presets. You do find one of these, like this one for instance. That is just one that I wrote for this You Are Good. So it's literally just a few shots that you sort of build up. Alright guys, so this is just quickly how I use intros and outros and my transitions and how I program them. I really hope you guys can use it, and if you do write stuff, please also share it. And yeah, I hope you guys can use this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.